and we're going to have a look at the affordances of recording your lectures in a distance education environment. So for those of you that are using Adobe Connect and they're putting on a class online, you have the ability to record your lectures here and save them in the server, the Adobe server, and then later export those as a Flash file and to be uploaded to YouTube. So some pretty neat features. I've done this myself quite a few times, and I've had a lot of positive feedback from students that said that recording these lectures and being able to go back at their own time and place and at home in their own environment to review these just adds so much more to the course. So I'd really encourage you to have a look at recording your lectures as an added feature to your courses. And in fact, if you were really organized with all your classes, you could even record these lectures and post them for online in the future, where you could have a repository of different classes that people in the future could then look at and review. All right, so to set up one of these recorded lectures, the instructor has an option here that comes up and says meeting, and down from meeting there's an option called recorded meetings. And there's a 3-dot ellipsis, which means there's a dialog box that'll pop up. Now I can't do that because I'm actually using this program to record the meeting. So if I did this, it would turn it off. So if you did click that, it would just ask you for the name that you want to tag this meeting and a little description. All right, once you select that, you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, there's a red dot. And that particular red dot just means that you're currently recording the session. Now, this particular version of Adobe, they don't have a pause button. And I really feel this is a limitation in the program, because I can't step away from the mic. I have to continuously talk and go on, unless later on I want to go through some editing tools and start cropping stuff out, which is a lot of work, and I don't want to do that. So I hope the next version has a pause button. All right, so as you're doing your live class, it will record everything. So for example, if I type out hello to the group and I type in something that might not be quite right, like a typo, it's going to record everything. So it's going to record everything that's going on in the class as a live session. If that's a live chat, it's your voice, it's your screen captures, everything you're doing, it's going to record it and capture it. So when we're doing these classes, a lot of times they're not, structured, they're not scripted. They're just, we have a list of objectives that we go through, but it's not a professional presentation, kind of like what I'm doing with this presentation right here. So, I think the benefit in recording your class, like I said, is so that students can later on go back and review this. But they're going to, what I'm saying is it's not a professional, polished video that you might expect. Okay, so once you've done the meeting online, you would click this and turn it off. Once you click it, turn it off, it saves this information inside of the Adobe Connect server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up mine and just show you how this works. Now, you won't have access to this unless you become an administrator of the Adobe Connect, which hopefully you'll get access to at your institution or your company, and they will give you an administrative account. So mine is being warehoused here at a subdomain called present at bccampus.ca, and I'm an administrator of this particular area. So what I've done is I've set up folders and I've managed all my meetings in there. So the first tab I'm going to have a look at here is meetings, and under the meetings, I've set one up here called MDDE 610, which is for our class, and in there there's one meeting room set up. And in here, all of my recordings are warehoused. So if you click on the recording link, it'll come up and say, here are the recordings that I've done currently for this particular group. So I'm doing number 6, which I can't really go in and make changes or make it offline or do anything to it right now because I'm currently recording. As you can see here, it's not even posting the time yet because it's recording. These are the other ones that I've done, so you can see the different times. And these videos, I feel you want to make them as, ideally 2 to 5 minutes, but sometimes it's hard to get it all in that time frame. All right, so down here, I've got one that's Affordance 1, synchronized broadcasting, and I've made it offline. How you do that is simply just select the video you want and say make it offline. What that does is it creates a link to making it offline creates the ability to save this particular meeting as a Flash video file. So if I was to make it offline, it would say, would you like to save it as a FLV file? So I could say that to a place on my local system, and then later from that point, I could simply upload it to another repository system, something like YouTube. The other way to do this is to select it and say I want to make it public. So if I don't want to have to go through the YouTube process, and I have an institution that has a good Adobe Connect server and a high-speed bandwidth, and that bandwidth's not an issue, I could post this on my site and then make it public. So what that does for me now is if I select a video, it creates a URL. So I can pass that on to my students or post this on a learning management system, and then students can access this whenever they want. So now the downside to that is, of course, they've got to connect to the institution and it's using your bandwidth. So as an alternative, what you can do is take your Flash video file, and upload it to YouTube. So what I did here in this example is I created a YouTube account, and I went into upload, and I simply uploaded my FLV file, and it creates a link in YouTube. And then again, I can just give that link to my students or post it in my LMS, and it's warehoused at YouTube. So I don't have to worry about if my server goes down, it's all warehoused there, and my bandwidth is also reduced, my institution. So these are some of the kind of the idea behind recording your lectures for distance education, be able to save it, and being able to publish it. Now there is an editing feature. If you want, you can get into some basic video editing where it gives you controls here at the bottom where it allows you to cut, and you can see here you can cut and crop. And you can select smaller sections, and it has a timeline. So very basic way of cutting and saving pieces of your video. So it's very basic editing feature inside of the Adobe Connect. So I'd really encourage you to have a look at recorded meetings, recorded lectures, and try it out. And I find this takes a lot of practice. You do need a good headset, of course, and obviously microphone. And I do find video during my recordings, it does add a lot more data to the file, so I don't use my talking head here, my video, when I'm actually recording my lectures as well. All right, so that's it. We'll see you in the next video.